Hello everybody, welcome to the video. Today we have a Texans rebuild for you guys. I don't really know, how much we can really do to such a bad team in just year one, but down the line we should be pretty good. Nico Collins has been absolutely spectacular. Probably put Bobby Woods down, or Bobby Trees, if you will. Tank Dell needs to go up. Damian Pierce, Evan Singletary is a good running back duo. Damian Pierce really hasn't been spectacular this year, especially with that yards per carry mark, or stat, if you will. So defensively, we got a good team around us, but we're going to look to make this a lot better. Will Anderson, in my opinion, should have superstar development or better, but I don't know. I guess Madden doesn't see the same, I guess. But that'll be the Houston team that you guys just saw. We're not all that bad. We've got a lot to work on, but 2-2 to start the season up to this point. CJ Stroud and Nico Collins have been unbelievable, and hopefully they can continue that. I'll sort around the team, but I'll see you guys at midseason. I'm going to try to develop Kenyon Green. I know I said I see you guys at midseason, but I was just letting you guys know that this is going to be a developing rest of the year, not really a go for it rest of the year, because the realistic shot that we can actually make the playoffs is pretty slight, but we always have that one-off chance, and why not put good numbers up to young players early and hope it helps their long-term development. We started off 2-2. We are now 2-4. So since the first two games that we've simulated, we've lost both of them. So there's that. I'll look at stats and awards real quick. CJ Stroud, 1,222 yards, 8 touchdowns to 8 interceptions to start the season off. Damian Pierce averaging a lot more yards per carry in Madden than he is in real life. Receiving, Nico Collins actually leading, with Dalton Schultz not too far behind. Bobby Trees, Tank Dell's getting worked in, and John Mechie hopefully will get more involved as time goes on. Tackles, Tenzel Perriman doing a good job there. TFLs, Will Anderson with 6, no sacks on the team other than Malik Collins and Derek Rivers with 2.5, 1, and then half a sack for Grenard. We have $94 million to try to bring as many people as we can back that I want on the team, and we'll start from the right side and kind of just go down the line, find players I want, find players I don't want, and then maybe make a trade or two, but I don't really see anyone that'd be really worth value. Josh Jones, I'm fine with letting him walk. I don't think anyone would really have interest in it either, and with Steven Nelson at 30 years old, have no interest in resigning, I'm just going to let him walk as well. Grenard, he's not developable at this point. He's like 2 more years, and if he gets star development, sure, but that's a very low chance of that happening. Move on from him. Tavier Thomas, Noah Brown, same thing. Shaq Griffin, if he plays well enough by the end of the year. Singletary, maybe I'll think about it, but Dalton Schultz is a definite yes. He wants 4 years. I'll give him 5, lower that down to 2.7 and give him 5 mil. So he's back long term. And just like that, we finished 7-10. Really didn't stand a chance. Henry To'o was good. 8 solo tackles. CJ Stroud, 3,500 yards, 24 touchdowns with a lot of interceptions. That's a big number. 20 interceptions on the year for him. 1,185 yards for Damian Pierce. That's 4.2 per carry, 10 touchdowns. He's on his way to being pretty good. Nico was good. Dalton Schultz was really good. And John Mechie got a lot more involved, with Tank Dell getting some reps. 7 touchdowns, actually tied for the lead in the team. Really good for him. Defensively, Christian Harris, 101 tackles, 100 for Henry To'o. I want these two to be the Alabama linebacker duo of the future for this team. 19 TFLs for Will Anderson, 18 for Sheldon Rankins, 15 for Grenard, and 10 for Malik Collins. We were really good against the run, it looks like. Grenard finished the season with 5 sacks, 4.5 for Malik Collins, 2.5 for Sheldon Rankins, 1.5 for Dylan Horton, which leads over Will Anderson, who really didn't get to the quarterback. Interceptions for Harris, Nelson, Tavier Thomas, Shaq Griffin, Stingley Jr., and Jalen Petrie, who I am a personal fan of, the Baylor safety, a former Baylor safety, Jalen Petrie. Went to the offseason, see the season recap and whatnot. Green Bay lose in the Super Bowl to the Cleveland Browns, which is a bummer because I personally am a fan of the Green Bay Packers, so that's annoying. Anyways, moving on, we have no defensive rookie, offensive rookie of the year, no players of the year, no coach of the year, no MVP. Pretty under the radar right now. A couple things I want to do here. We have 116 mil. Shaq Griffin, if you want a 1-year deal, I'm sure that you probably won't, and he'll be on his way out, which is fine. But Jonathan Grenard, star development, like we mentioned, if he gets that, I wouldn't mind, having him back. Maybe he's good for, short term. Jonathan Grenard back on a 2-year deal. I'm gonna look down the line. I highly doubt we'll find anything. Yeah, nothing I really like. We'll move to free agency. I can't look at free agency, so I'm guessing that has something to do with my franchise settings. Great. Off-season free agent bidding. I had that on auto, on accident. I barely just missed that, so that's annoying. We're gonna miss phase 1, it looks like, because I know we won't be able to go back and get it. So we'll have to go to stage 2 and see what's leftovers we can get. You gotta be joking. Mike Williams already gone. Stephon Gilmore. Not a whole lot else is gone, but a lot of the better players are probably the better younger players, I should say. So we'll just go to available and search first round. So here's our class. I'm actually going to lower Jeff Okudah's deal real quick. I want him on 4 years. We'll try to go down to like 2, like this sort of deal. I guess that might work, but we have competition with him with the Rams. Damian Lewis, if we get him, cool. If we don't, cool. Puna Ford to come in and play for a year. Jadeveon Clowney, Texans reunite, and that'll only be for a year. 1 year for Drew Tranquil, 1 year for Dorrance Armstrong, 1 year for Shaq Griffin, and 1 year for James Houston. All kind of prove it deals, if you will. So we'll go ahead and evaluate these offers, see who we can reel out of the bunch. I don't really know. Jeff Okudah, Puna Ford, Jadeveon Clowney, Drew Tranquil, Dorrance Armstrong, Shaq Griffin, Kendall Fuller. Wait, why Kyle Fuller? I didn't want Kyle Fuller. Get Kyle Fuller away from my team. I must have missed that. So unfortunate for me, but no one else I really want. So after the first year and free agency, this will be the team. Laramie Tunsil, Kendrick Green, Kenyon Green, Drew Scruggs, Shaq Mason. Honestly, we could do this lineup right here. We can have maybe Kenyon Green will work a little better on the interior. So, or I guess he's already in the interior. Maybe at the center position. Shaq Mason here, 83 overall. Titus Howard's not that great, and we really don't have anyone yet. And I'm not going to take on that penalty, so he'll have to stay until his contract's done. Dalton Schultz, 81 overall tight end, very good. Nico Collins, Tank Dell, and John Mechie basically make our receiving core with, I believe that's Grant Dubose and Xavier Hutchinson, and that is French. On the defensive side of the ball, we'll start with 72 overall. Henry To'o, former Alabama linebacker. Same with Christian Harris, is up to a 71 overall. Drew Tranquil will come in and, like I said, kind of play that Denzel Perryman role that needed to be fixed, or I guess filled. And Jimmy Ward will come in and play strong safety. He's been here. Jalen Petrie, strong free safety. I'm all over the place. Kyle Fuller, Derek Stingley, Jeff Okudah, Shaq Griffin make our corner room with Will Anderson, Dorrance Armstrong, and James Houston. Jadeveon Clowney, Jonathan Grenard. We have 5 viable, very viable edge rushers, and that's good. Puna Ford and Malik Collins up the inside as well, and the specialists will be interesting. I don't know how I'll quite set those up yet. I think it'll look like this, and then I'll start someone else. I think I'll start like Jonathan Grenard over here. I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I'll find a way to make everyone happy. We have the 32nd overall pick because we have the Browns pick, and they won the Super Bowl, so that's sick. I don't know why we're scouting quarterbacks here, but there's 2 okay ones right here. But look at this receiver up here, Caleb Bass, Oregon State, wide receiver, runs fine. He's not the best athlete. He's gonna be damn good, and that's for sure. This class actually doesn't look all that bad, so hopefully a good player can fall to us at 32. Where there's actually this guy right here, Demetrius Collins, Ole Miss, 6'5", 302, C block shedding. I wish that was a bit better, but like, I mean, look at this. Even Brandon Swift was a man-to-man and B-to-D zone coverage. Scares me. And a top 5 scrambler, Lane Lewis, Utah. Like, what? Top 5 talent at round 1 to 2 projection at 41. I'd take him just for the trade value we could get in return for him in a couple years. So we'll skip to our pick, and I'll look for that quarterback. He is here. And he is very tempting to take, especially with some mad people up here. Deontay Minter is interesting. 4.42 speed, elite acceleration. Looks fine. Doesn't look, yeah, F medium route kind of turn off. 2 interesting players between Bryce Douglas and Tommy Weeks. Weeks is 6'2", 203. A little bit thicker, runs in the 4.3s. C play rec, C press, but B man coverage, B zone coverage is good at this spot. And when's our next pick? We have the 10th pick there, and then okay, so we really don't have a whole lot here. So I'd like to take this. I'm going to take this quarterback for sure, and then I'll simulate until either Tommy Weeks or Bryce Douglas, who looks really good as well with a power archetype. Looks fine, great strength. Across the board, sure, he could still be kind of bad, and kind of actually doesn't look as great as he looks like just from the initial ratings. So we'll go ahead and take this quarterback. Top 5 talent, Lane Lewis. They're like, what? You just drafted CJ Stroud, yo? And I'm like, well, top 5 talent, I'll take him. Bryce Douglas is off the board. We'll try to move up 3 picks. It should cost virtually nothing, especially to a Super Bowl caliber team like the Eagles. You know, another white Stanford quarterback, they can have him. Actually, I want Davis Mills. I like him. Done deal. Alex Austin, a 2nd and a 7th, just for 3 spots to move up in the draft, to draft a really good looking kind of corner, I guess. He doesn't look like totally amazing, but he still looks pretty good. Tommy Weeks, Boise State, like I had mentioned, 4.3 speed. He looks pretty good. He's got great size and could definitely be a very good player, but from what I can tell, he's probably around a 73 or 4 overall. Ooh, little hidden diamond right here. What is it called? There's something for it that I'm just not going to be able to find. B awareness, A impact blocking, A finesse, B run block. He's obviously not a pass blocker, not the best at it, but he's a good run blocker right off the bat. I'll take him. Quincy Hall, Colorado. Deion Sanders coaching these boys up right. Draft recap, 78 overall. Lane Lewis would be good enough to tie our starter, if not start. And Tommy Weeks was a 76, actually. Very good. And Quincy Hall is actually pretty good as well. So that's good to have another offensive lineman. It always is nice to have multiple linemen. Caleb Bass, like I said, that receiver, really good. 81 overall. Wow, the Bears just showing off what they can do. Down the board, I mean, the Cardinals as well. So two teams get the top 4 picks. That's kind of crazy. And then we head down the board, and here we are. Lane Lewis, the what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We said he was a top 5 talent. He's a top 6. Obviously, it's a little nitpicky. And Chris Starling, even. Look at the Bears go. DJ Stroud, just give him an improviser upgrade there. I don't know why I said it like that. He's a pure 81 overall now. So here's the new look team. We'll have Quincy Hall sitting behind Shaq Mason for a year. Kenyon Green will move up at guard, and we'll just have Juice Scruggs play center for us again. Maybe he can develop into something. I don't really know what that something would be, but it'd be something. Mechie, Dell, and Collins will come in and play receiver for us. Come in. I don't know why I keep saying come in and play. And here's Deshaun Corbin. I'd rather have him up here, but we did bring in Lane Lewis. I don't know. We'll see what the return we can get on him soon is. Defensively, especially if he has better than star development. If he has like superstar X factor, do I consider starting him? Oh, I don't think I would. It's a Texans rebuild. I'd rather stick with CJ Stroud, Toa, Christian Harris, Drew Tranquil, Jimmy Ward. You guys already seen this defense, so we'll have the rush ends obviously, and I'll just put these guys as the base guys. I don't know, it'll work really interestingly. I'm not gonna lie, we don't really need James Houston. Brought in one too many edge rushers. And Weeks will want to start right away on the boundary for friggin' sure. We actually start 4-3, which is good for 3rd in our division, but offense, we have one of the best offenses in the league. That is what I love to see. And what's funny is that we actually stopped on our bye week, which is interesting. CJ Stroud leads the league in passing yards, excuse me. 18 touchdowns and 3 interceptions. Yeah, playbook change can really change the game for you. Damian Pierce has been really good. Deshaun Corbin, when he gets the ball, actually isn't horrible, which is interesting. Tank Dell has been incredible. 12 more touches than the next best guy, which would be Nico Collins. John Mechie putting up good numbers. Dalton Schultz. And why does he look so jacked up in that face? Like, I don't know if you guys can tell if it comes through the video, but what in the world? And 7 touchdowns actually leads the team for John Mechie. Great job for him, getting the equal sample size to Nico Collins, which is good. But Tank Dell, kind of in a league of his own right now. Defensively, what sort of numbers is everyone putting up? Christian Harris and Henry To'oTo'o leading the team in tackles. Malik Collins, TFL's 5 for Jadeveon Clowney, 3 for Will Anderson, 1 for Grenard, or 3 for Grenard, 2 for Poona Ford, and you can go down and see these guys. But leading the Texans in sacks, Jadeveon Clowney comes back after being gone for a while. Texans, I think, #1 overall pick, if I'm not mistaken. 3.5 sacks, 2.5 for Will Anderson. Grenard has 1, Poona Ford has 1. Half for Harris, half for Weeks as well. Interceptions, 0. Nada. 0. Not even 1. Forgot to change our scouts and everything. I don't want Armstrong back. I don't want Houston back. I do want Nico Collins back, especially while he's cheap. Definitely wouldn't mind having the Michigan grad come back. We probably could have got him for just $200,000 less there, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much. Poona Ford, he's played well, and if he plays and continues to play well, we'll want him around for a while. But other than that, everybody else kind of meh. It kills me that Kenyon Green was a 1st-round pick. That's kind of ridiculous. Like I said, we forgot to change our scouts, so we just have quarterbacks being scouted right now, which is quite annoying. So what do we need the most here? I probably would like offensive tackle, so we'll just make that the go-ahead, even though it's not a strength of the class. We'll just like to get the general sense out there of how they are and how good they can be. Let's go to the playoffs, see if we can make it. We start off 4-3, kind of hot, have the best quarterback in the league right now. Kind of unrealistic to say, but hey, you know what? It's Madden. Let me have my fun. CJ Stroud is amazing. We do make the playoffs against the Cincinnati Bengals, who are currently not on track, by the way. They suck. We'll go ahead and check the league right here. CJ Stroud just finishing outside of that top 5 or top 3. the podium of passing yards. I'm struggling right now. 4,500 yards, 3,500 or 4,500 yards, 35 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Still up on those interception numbers. A little bummed about. But Dameon Pierce, 4.1 per carry, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Good for him. Nico Collins was spectacular. Oh my lord, 1,336 yards, 1,242 for Tank Dell on a lot more receptions. Mechie was great on his receptions. Dalton Schultz was amazing on his as well. Defensively, show me some numbers here. 130 tackles for Toto, 125 for Christian Harris. That's amazing, and I don't see Drew Tranquil really making too much of an impact on the team. Kind of just looking to make sure we don't need to re-sign him. 12 TFLs for Jadeveon Clowney and Malik Collins. 7.5 sacks leads the team with Jadeveon Clowney, and 6.5 for Will Anderson isn't bad. 3.5 for Puna Ford. He played well. Not good enough, though. I think I'll let him walk. And then interceptions for Harris, Toa, Weeks, Stingley, and Jalen Petrie. We'll see if we can beat the Cincinnati Bengals in the wild card. I'd say it's very unlikely. Okay, well, we did it. Kind of speechless. If we make it to the conference championship this early, I'm not going to worry about it. But if we make about the Super Bowl, holy crap. Why are we doing so well right now? It kind of kills me. The Texans are up, and CJ Stroud, last game, 306 yards, 2 passing touchdowns and interception, which isn't great. And a rushing touchdown, 25 yards on the ground for CJ Stroud. He was really good last week. Can he continue it this week against the Buffalo Bills? If we make the Super Bowl, I will jump in. But like I said, this early, I wouldn't really worry about it. We actually are in the Super Bowl. What is going on? Let's view some yearly awards, would we? Let's see where CJ Stroud was not high up on that MVP voting. And where are we? D'Amico Ryans. I didn't even think to make my own. It's kind of a bum move by me. Offensive Player of the Year, Jonathan Taylor. We should see some form of a Texan in here, right? No, I guess a lot of players were better. And no Texan in here either. Offensive Rookie of the Year, nada. Defensive Rookie of the Year, nada. I mean, here's Weeks, but not really towards the top here. And CJ Stroud's all the way down at 8. Best running back, we've got to be here somewhere, right? No way. Tank Dell 9th in the wide receiver, best wide receiver votes, and Nico Collins in a 3rd best in offensive lineman. Did we have anyone? We didn't. So Tooney, actually, it was the best defensive lineman. We already kind of, I don't care about much anymore. Let's take a look at the Super Bowl team here. We go to adjust lineup just to get a little overlook on everything. CJ Stroud obviously up to superstar development. Dalton Schultz obviously up to superstar development. Juice Scruggs doing really well. Kenyon Green developing finally. Titus Howard's fine for now, I guess. Shaq Mason still kicking it, I guess. Lane Lewis still developing. Nico Collins up to star development. I was hoping we'd see John Mechie go up as well, but we need to see him in a better role. Defensively, star development across the linebacker room. Henry Toto is really coming into his own now. Christian Harris doing a really good job as well, just not developing as fast, and that's just fine. I mean, honestly, if we need another outside linebacker, I'm just fine with it. I'm not too worried about it. Or Armstrong, Anderson, who I'd just like to be a full-time edge now. Gernard, who's been fine, but we need to play our best players now, because it's now or never. And Weeks really is becoming really good. Maybe he'll pass Stingley at some point. But other than that, we will head into the Super Bowl. Look at it, play through it. Well, we're not actually going to play through it, obviously. We're just going to look at what's going on. Jump forward to the end of the game. We'll just watch this one via simulation. We start off 7-7. Can we make it 14-7? We do. 17 to 14 now. We're marching back down. Couldn't quite convert. 21-17. This one closing up. It's going to be 24-21. And we did a good job. 31-21. Minnesota went down and scored 31-28. We gotta do our best Patriots sort of thing here. We gotta beat this. That's basically what I'm saying. Who is number 94 over there? They have Emmanuel Ogba actually off the edge, which is interesting. Dameon Pierce up the field for a couple yards. And we'll take this one to the 2-minute. Even if you know Dameon Pierce is running right at you, are going to be able to stop it. We're going to take that as a yes, just really quick. And we'll try to find like some sort of pass play. And you're like, don't pass it. And I'm like, I'm not, because I'm going to actually run it. It's just better for like how the defense sets up for it, I guess. Dameon Pierce, that's a first down. There we go. That's not quite the game yet, but it fares well for us, and we can't just run Dameon Pierce into the ground here. We really have to think about it. And number 42, is that a Vaughn Pace, actually? No, that's Isaiah Simmons, please. But this one, not officially over, but we're making our best effort at, closing this one, and we will work with Damian Pierce and just go up the middle again. Hasn't really been great on a per yards basis, but we got that shoe clock on. And we'll just do clear outs, and then, oh shit, I forgot I had shoe clock on. No, that's a costly penalty. I actually believe in our team to get this right here, and if not, I will just take some sort of dump down. Oh my God, that is not what I wanted to do at all. What just happened to my game? Today, Justin Jefferson, 11 receptions, 107 yards, and a touchdown. Playing man coverage here on these guys is maybe not the smartest thing I've ever done, but it's definitely not the dumbest. This one just be thrown up and away. Shaq Griffin, I swear. Who is Blackshear doing a good job at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings nowadays. Just have to get that one stop, that stop and a half, and we have nobody over there. And this is why we played man last time around. We're not going to be able to get there this time. We do now. I'm going to use our Christian Harris, who will be going after the... Oh my God, we were right underneath. They have no timeouts. They have nothing. Come on. We got to just put press man coverage again. I'm going to use our Christian Harris again. Try to work this underneath area. Try to run with the running back there. This one will be 3rd and 4. They're trying to get in to that field goal range. They can't complete this one inbounds. Puts them at serious clock disadvantages. Play underneath. We got to make sure that we can get everyone manned up, do their thing, do what they're supposed to. And this one, no freaking way. They're down in bounds. This is over. We did it. We won a Super Bowl in year number, well, 1 of the rebuild, but year number 2 pretty much. Wow, what a freaking run in this just 2nd year. You can't, like, you just don't do that. Come from the wild card, make the Super Bowl. Jonathan Grenard, very happy about it. Everybody else should be. This is great. Oh my Lord. Of course, we'll keep going with the rebuild. It's not going to be over after just 1 year of rebuilding. And but a Super Bowl is a great way to do that, and it makes us hungry to get back there, right? So that's kind of the narrative around the Super Bowl. And yeah, we'll just move on, try to re-sign some players, get into this offseason, really dig in and make this team a lot better. Poona Ford is back for next year, and Malik Collins is back for 1 year. And I'm not going to lie to you, John Mechie really hasn't worked out the exact way I wanted him to kind of work out in these first couple of years. So we'll go after a name like Elijah Moore to come in and play. We'll have Tank Dell. I mean, he's kind of a slot guy, right? So do we want him on the slot with Tank Dell outside, or it's Elijah Moore outside? I just don't think that's a good fit. So we'll go after Rashad Bateman instead. You know, this would have been the perfect signing right here. Aleem McNeil. If he had star development or superstar, dude, that would have been so sick, but not. Unfortunately, he's just not that caliber. Another perfect signing right here. If JOK actually had interest, it'd be a shit ton of money because he's an outside linebacker, but he doesn't rush the passer. So, I mean, honestly, Greg Newsome would be sick. He can come in and play the slot, and then we'd have Stingley and Weeks outside. So maybe look to make that happen somehow. So we'll go after Greg Newsome, Zadarius Smith, Rashad Bateman, Jed Wills, and Jalen Warren. We'll see which one of these guys or which few of these guys we can actually bring in. Because honestly, okay, wow, we get Newsome, Smith, Bateman, Jed Wills, and Jalen Warren. I was going to say, honestly, all of them would be nice, but I don't know if we'll be able to get them all. And, well, we got them all. Sam Cosmi can come in and play tackle, guard, or center for us. And so that'd just be kind of an asset, and he's pretty cheap. We can actually get him for cheaper than this, as we're giving him a lot. So we'll go after Sam Cosmi, Caden Stearns to come in and play for Jimmy Ward where he was playing, and then Brian Asamoah to kind of come in and fill where Drew Tranquil is playing until we finally find like some of these guys. But this guy here, Sam Cosmi, my guy, here for 4 years it looks like, and Caden Stearns 1 year prove it deal to come in and play strong safety as like a tryout rule. If he does really well, long-term extension, you know, incoming. Brian Asamoah, same thing. So we'll just go ahead and evaluate all of these offers as well, as I would like both those guys. We do get Caden Stearns and Brian Asamoah. Sam Cosmi, just become a Texan, man. It's not that difficult to say. Yes, he does. So Sam Cosmi will come in and possibly play center for us. Most likely play center for us. I freaking knew it. Lewis is a superstar X Factor. I was gonna be like, watch this. Stroud's gonna get superstar just to get superstar X Factor. So Lane Lewis is superstar X Factor, which is a killer. And oh god, that's annoying. That's really annoying. Oh, that's unbelievably annoying. So yeah, we'll move Cosmi inside to center. Hall will come up and play, and then we'll actually have Jed Wills come play right tackle for us. Kenyon Green will come play, well, I guess Shaq Mason will play left. Oh, this is a mess. I'll figure it all out. You guys don't have to worry about that. Mechie's still on the team. Warren, Pierce, and then Lane frickin' Lewis is superstar X Factor. And Puna Ford, Malik Collins, Will Anderson, and Zadarius Smith. I know we inked a deal with Gernard, but if we can get Zadarius Smith in here, especially to teach Will Anderson, that'd be great. And then we obviously now have really good corners up and down this thing. Jeff Okuda, which is another like boundary slot corner. You could play him wherever he needs to play and come in and play, he'll play. Newsome as a slot would be amazing, and then Weeks and Stingley on the outside is also amazing. So should be really good. We should like make huge jumps, and then Brian Osimo will actually come out here and play left outside linebacker, by the way. We pick at number 32 once again, so we'll have to look at the draft board, and hopefully no great players are up here. Too bad. Power moves, B finesse moves, A to C block shit. If he was a run stopper archetype with all that, oh my god, he'd be unbelievable. Derek Fletcher looks fine. Yeah, kind of missing out at the top of the board for sure. Power rusher Corey Wilkins would be quite fun. This is a defensive tackle. I was expecting a corner, but I don't know. There should still be, oh yeah, there'll be value where we pick. I'm not worried about trading up because I don't want to waste assets. Yeah, they'll definitely, there's going to be pieces. Kurt Dobson looks not great. A lot of questions with him. Nick Carlisle here, not interested. Just not that athlete that I would like. Now this is a little interesting. B block shedding, 8 hit power, B tackle. I'd need to know his zone coverage because it's only a B to D. Run support archetype doesn't really support that too much. Here's our guy right here, Jimmy Archer. Just we don't need corner, so that kind of sucks. Not the best athlete all the way around, but you look at his archetype, he's man to man, only 5'10", so maybe not our guy. But B zone coverage with B to D man coverage, probably going to be B. Man coverage, B zone coverage, B press, C play rec, A catching, C tackle. Like he'd be okay, he'd be pretty good, but like I don't know, I'd rather like trade this pick and get something in return than try to bet on some of these guys down the board. If I were to take a corner, it'd be this guy right here, Ben Good, 5'11", 203. He's got man-to-man, maybe not the best speed, can come in and play the slot for us, but like I said, we just don't need corner, and I don't want to really get too involved or make the wrong pick here. And this right here, this is an offensive tackle worth taking at this spot, so maybe move down because he's like 20 picks down the board. So maybe move down might be the right move. I don't know. We'll see what I can cook up. Done deal. We do like a second round pick swap. Jonathan Grenard for Jalen Carter, and they just get a first out of it. I was fine giving that second away just when it comes to the player we can get with Jalen Carter. You joking? Give me Jalen Carter. Now, if Matt Barker goes before like I get to my pick, which is up here in 6 picks, I'm gonna be pretty mad, I'm not gonna lie. So we're gonna look out for the name Barker, and if he goes, it's gonna be annoying, but that's kind of the gamble we're taking here. Offensive lineman kind of marching off the board here. I'm scared to look at this point. Last pick, this is where it would happen, if any, and oh my god, I don't know why I was expecting that to happen, because I think his first name starts with an A as well. No, it doesn't. So it's just Matt Barker, right tackle. Welcome to the team. Long term would just be our Laramie Tunsil replacement, if you will. He's getting to that like 32 mark, and we just brought in Jed Wills. Titus Howard isn't going to be here forever. He's also 30. We'll just go to the back end of the 3rd round and let the CPU take the rest. Wow, this pick was basically made for me. Trevor Pruitt, by the way, not bad. I like his core ratings. I mean, you can literally go down and check. Just go down, you see, oh, right here, this is a receiver CBCB, which isn't bad. Physical archetype, 219, only 6'1", so maybe not as good as you'd like, but he's definitely the pick here if I can't find anyone else, because he looks good for the value that we'd be getting in return for this sort of pick. Tony Saxon, a power back with 4.48 speed, great strength, not the best acceleration, A trucking, B carrying, B break tackle, B carry, ball carry vision. We don't need it. Let's go pull the trigger on Georgia Tech's Trevor Pruitt, who will come out normal development, 6'2" physical guy with 88 speed. Not high upside or anything, but you know what? We have a pick, 3 picks from here, or 2 picks from here. Kevin Beal actually ends up going, which was someone I looked at, another power back, but he had like 4.6 speed, and I was not about that. Ooh, there's actually enough going with this guy that I wouldn't mind taking the gamble here. Great change of direction, elite agility, good acceleration, elite jumping for whatever that means. Great strength, or what I guess whatever that value is on a guard. You don't really care about their jumping. A lead block, A impact, B finesse. Yeah, give me Brent Sherman this far down the board. Can't believe I missed that the first time around. So not only are we good right now, we're building really well for the future, and I'll set up all the team, and then I'll be back with a recording tomorrow to show you guys the rest of the team. It's confusing. It'll be in just a couple of seconds for you guys. And here is the team. Juice Scruggs, and we've got like guys behind guys that could play positions here on the offensive line, including Matt Barker. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see like when these guys will phase out. I'm not going to be as in a rush to like move Shaq Mason out anymore, and if his contract expires, not a big deal. We got Sherman in behind him. Obviously would like him to develop a little bit before, you know, stepping in and taking, you know, like whatever. There's a huge difference between both these guys, but I'm just not too worried about, you know, losing some of these guys now. Tank Dell, Nico Collins, Rashad Bateman, John Mechie Jr. make a great receiving core with Damian Pierce, and now Jalen Warren's in here to come in and play, and then 270 overalls behind him, CJ Stroud, and then obviously I believe it's Lane Lewis, superstar X Factor and superstar. I don't know. That's a weird situation we've got here, but other than that, superstar tight end Dalton Schultz. Defensively, we look fine. Linebackers where we really struggle, but we haven't actually. Like, it's been good. Like, they put up numbers, and Caden Stearns is here on a one-year prove-it deal. Besides Jalen Petrie, Greg Newsome will play the slot corner despite being corner number one. We'll have Weeks and Derek Stingley Jr. on the boundary. Poona Ford, Jalen Carter make our interior with Will Anderson and Zadarius Smith on the outside. Zadarius Smith's a rental this year. We'll have him replaced by the start of next season, like almost for sure. So gave you guys a quick little rundown of the team, myself a little refresher since it is the next day. Let's go to midseason, see what we can do. So we don't really get that start that we needed. We're 2-4. We do have a breakout wide receiver, tandem breakout, and upgrading players. The first breakout challenge was Nico Collins, and we're waiting to see which one this one is, if the black screen will ever go away. Did my game freeze? What's going on here? Nope, it's Rashad Bateman. Man, Nico Collins took our last game over and couldn't be stopped. Are you ready to see me go off like that today? I like the way you play, buddy, but I don't know if you do it. But we'll challenge him, of course. I think that he could show us what he's got. Stats on the season: 1,500 yards from CJ Stroud, 8 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Not great. Rushing, Damian Pierce is doing fine. Probably should see the ball more often, though. Only 7 touchdowns. Receiving, Nico Collins leading the team by a margin. Oh, my Lord. Tank Dell's kind of taking a backseat. Oh, wait, no. Rashad Bateman's taking a backseat this year. Tank Dell's doing really well. Leads the team in touchdowns. Defensively, tackles, Henry To'oTo'o leading the team with Christian Harris right behind him with half a sack and a TFL as well. And speaking about sacks, Will Anderson finally starting to come out of his shell. 3 sacks for both him and Zadarius Smith, 1.5 for Carter and 1 for Brian Asamoah. Interceptions, nada. 0 to go across the board. We actually have a really solid offer for John Mechie for Roger McCreary. We just don't need Roger McCreary. But I've never seen a fair offer like this. That's actually kind of crazy. I didn't. He's probably on the last year of his deal, Roger McCreary. And there's Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Oh my Lord. Well, yeah, I'll take this right straight up. Like, give me Felix Anudike-Uzomah. He'll come in and be the other edge when Zadarius Smith's gone. Damian Pierce needs the next contract. Jalen Petrie, Christian Harris, Zadarius Smith, Caden Stearns, who I didn't actually see if he was playing well. So we'll hold off on that contract and just sum down the board, you know? First things first, let's sign Jalen Petrie to a $6 million a year deal for the next, what, 4 or 5 years, I said. Damian Pierce is back for 3 years as well. And then Christian Harris, I guess I should hold off on him, right? But I don't know. I guess we could just give him like kind of this deal, see if he'll take it. That's a good offer. Yeah, I know it was. Yeah, I just totally expected you to take that. We have 4 first-round picks from this last, or from, you know, the 2023 class. It'd be CJ Stroud, Will Anderson, Jalen Carter, and Felix Anudike-Uzomah, with all good interest except our top 2 here that we actually drafted. They've been here long enough to know they don't want to be here. We finished 8-9 with a top 10 offense in the league. Nothing crazy. Henry To'oTo'o had another good week to close us out. Stats and awards: CJ Stroud, 4,000 yards. Okay, 29 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. Cleaned up his interceptions towards the end of the year. Damian Pierce was really good with 19 touchdowns. Receiving, Nico was pretty good as well, with Tank Dell doing a really good job in the slot. Rashad Bateman had a pretty active role. Dalton Schultz and then Jalen Warren saw the ball through the air quite a bit. Defensively, Henry To'oTo'o, 132 tackles, 5 for loss, 1.5 QB sacks, and interceptions: 4 for Tommy Weeks, 2 for Stingley, 2 for Newsome, 1 for Harris, 1 for Petrie. And when it comes to QB sacks, Jalen Carter took over, 10.5 from the interior. Love to see that. Zadarius Smith, 5.5, 5 for Will Anderson. He had like 3 in the first half. And then Felix Anudike-Uzomah with 4. I'm sure a lot of that was with his time on the Chiefs. 2025 season recap here. Nobody really to note. So moving on. CJ Stroud, we are not going to accept that option. Will Anderson, we will actually accept that option. And then Jalen Carter, no. Felix Ndike, yes. The only reason for the Jalen Carter and the CJ Stroud thing is we've got to save as much money as possible. So I'd rather sign these two to big deals and then wait a year to hold off on Anderson and Uzama. And then we can get the rest done. Zadarius Smith will walk, Caden Stearns will walk, Asamoah will walk, Poona Ford can walk. A lot of guys need to walk. We need the money. We need to keep our money in hand because we need to sign CJ Stroud and Jalen Carter and Will Anderson. We'll go over Daxton Hill. Wait, what I just did? We'll go after Daxton Hill and Terrell Bernard to come in and play the outside linebacker spot we've been trying to fill for the past while. Maybe Bernard does a good job, and I have him for 2 years on this deal. And Dax Hill to be our new strong safety since we didn't re-sign Caden Stearns. Go ahead and evaluate these offers. I'm sure we'll see results pretty quickly from both these guys. Welcome to the Texans. Forgot we needed someone to replace Poona Ford since we're not going to sign him back. So Zach Sealer will be our offer, and we'll get Zach Sealer as well. So that will actually clean up our class. I'm glad we really don't have a high pick, but there's Carlos Godwin up here who looks really, really good. Really, really, really good. Oh my Lord. This guy could be muy bien. So if he gets to a certain pick, you know, I might consider trading up. He goes off the board, number 1 overall. So yeah, we'll just go to our pick, I guess. What the David Verdon here. A awareness, A impact blocking, A run blocking, A pass block finesse, A to B lead block, but C pass block powers a D, run block powers a C, A to B. I don't know. This guy looks not like bad, but I don't think he's worth the 13th overall pick. This is actually such a good tackle class. Look at Zach Reed here. Look at this guy right here, Owen Kerr, A to B. And then you could go up. This guy right here is not bad. It doesn't look bad at least. And you can keep going up. Chris Smith doesn't look bad at all. Keep going. And then this guy right here could be really good. Like, what a tackle class. This guy even, Luke Roberts. So yeah, I'm not taking this guy up here. Done deal. Lewis Tunsil, first, a second, across for Patrick Surtain, and a second to move us up into a position where we could draft at least one of these tackles. We'll see if any are left by the time we get to our pick, but huge trade. It looks like we got an option between Owen Kerr, Greg Franklin, and Luke Roberts. So I'll go through all these guys and look who I want most. Yeah, this guy right here, Owen Kerr, despite the D run block finesse, C pass block finesse, other than that, he looks great. He's the better athlete of all these guys with great strength. I think I will Owen Kerr, baby. Hidden development. Give me that. B awareness, B block shedding, B tackling, and his coverages could be good, but they also look pretty bad. Like, they're consistently probably going to be horrible. C pursuit, A play rec. I'll take a gamble on him. Give me David Steele. He's not going to be good, but you know, if he had hidden development there was a chance he was like a 72 overall and could develop into someone we could use, but I'll let the CPU take the rest. Okay, this isn't bad. Owen Kerr is a 73 overall, which, I mean, I'm sure there was better out there. I'll go check the rest of the NFL. Yep, Carlos Godwin, I knew he was going to be really good. He was. Let's go check for other tackles down the board. Wow. Actually, Zach Reed was the next best one. He's picked one pick ahead of our first pick in the draft here, and he could have been good. But other than that, they didn't look to see, or they didn't beat. Okay, never mind. I'm done talking, dude. I can't form a sentence. And that linebacker we drafted actually wasn't horrible. Where is he? He's right here, Steele. And I'm gonna have to put someone else outside linebacker. I think it'll be Terrell Bernard. So Rashad Bateman will take the back seat. We'll have Nico Collins in that CD Lamb spot, and then Tank Dell here and in the slot. And then we'll move someone else up to this right tackle spot. Jed Wills will still play. Probably, I think I'll move Jed Wills to right tackle, and then Barker up from the left side, or from here to the left side. I don't know. We'll see what we could do here to make this team as good as possible. And then on this defensive line, obviously Zach Sealer will have to come in and play DT2, not 1. And then Weeks, our corner that we drafted, I think in year 1, is up to superstar depth. So good for him. Newsome, I know Stingley's kind of just become irrelevant now, huh? Probably should trade him, but I don't know. We'll see. We got a lot of contracts bouncing around at this point, so anything can happen. Anyone could leave at any point. That's a way to start the season. We start off 5-2. We got players ready to negotiate, obviously, and trade offers for Derek Stingley Jr. Why don't we go over those? We actually got, or we're looking at some pretty fair compensation last time around, and this time not so much. Oh, Abraham Lucas would be interesting if we weren't so strong at the tackle position. Brian Brzee to come in. That would actually be sick as well. I definitely would consider that for sure. and plus we get younger too. It's 25-year-old Derek Stingley Jr. for 24-year-old Brian Brzee. I don't know if he's on his new deal yet, but I don't know. There's a interesting mix of players in here. I'll definitely a superstar development defensive tackle right there at 24 as well. Be quite fun. Nolan Smith Jr. There's a lot. CJ Stroud with 1,800 yards, 16 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Interceptions are still kind of heavy. Dameon Pierce is fine, not great. Receiving, Nico Collins taking the league by storm, just yet another year. Pretty sure Tank Dell's put up this exact stat line at some point. I feel like he always has like 460 something yards. It could just be like something I'm imagining here, but I feel like that's the case. Defensively, Henry To'oTo'o leads the team with weeks at 53 tackles out of boundary corner roll is crazy. Terrell Bernard has 38 tackles, 2 for loss, half a sack. Speaking of sacks, Zach Sealer will come in and be 2.5 sacks, will lead the team, tied with Will Anderson, and 1.5 for Jalen Carter, 1 for Felix Uzama. Interceptions, Pat Surtain has 2. Probably doesn't get the ball thrown towards him all too often, and will pay or make you pay when you do. So Pat Surtain, so far so good. Players will look to trade or sign to new negotiation processes. Oh boy, so we've got a lot of cap room, so this means it's gonna be a pretty loaded class. CJ Stroud has like no interest in coming back to this team. We'll try this first. He says that he'll reconsider more offers like that, so we'll have to keep working on him. Jalen Carter, though, I want him here for the absolute long term, and I'm pretty sure this deal can get it done and will. There's that. Derek Stingley Jr. will look to trade. Tank Dell, 5-year deal, 5.5, and then put this down to 5. This should get it done. He is back. Henry To'oTo'o is back. I think we'll skip on Kenyon Green as well, though. Sealer, we'll wait to see how well he plays, and then the rest. We can get rid of both Shaq Mason, Titus Howard. I don't really want to trade them either because we'll incur a penalty, like a cap penalty that'll be pretty heavy. So we'll just go look to trade Derek Stingley at this point, and then we just have to work on CJ Stroud. Done deal. Derek Stingley Jr. and Drew Scruggs for some young tight end Brackens, some backup corner come and play corner 4 for us, and Johnson, a superstar development defensive tackle that'll be 25 next year and step into a leading role with Zach Sealer gone. Not a leading role. He'll obviously be defensive tackle too, but that's just as important. So we'll go ahead and just work with what we got. Let's go ahead and just sim 1 weekend so we can try to work with CJ Stroud again. And this is as high as I'll go right now. $20 million on the bonus and $25 million salary for the next 7 years. CJ Stroud, this offer is perfect. Glad we got that one done, and then the rest, like I said, can pretty much walk. And I'm not interested in these two back here, and Presley Harvin and whoever the hell the guy was before Presley Harvin can go as well. We end up losing our last game as well, so hopefully we can kind of flip the script. We've lost our last 2. See if we can, like I said, flip the script, go around, and make a playoff appearance. We go 12-5, and that's good enough for the freaking bye. We got the #1 seed at 12-5. I don't think that's like been done in Madden simulation history, but you know what? We'll take it. We'll take that. CJ Stroud, 4,139 yards, 36 touchdowns, only 9 interceptions, getting a little bit better. Rushing, Dameon Pierce was down a lot last year, down a lot from last year. Nico Collins should have superstar X Factor after this season. This is amazing. Great stuff from Nico Collins, putting up great numbers. Tank Dell, over 1,000 again. Look at this. So it goes 115 receptions, -30 to Tank Dell's 85, -20 to Dalton Kincaid's, -20 to Rashad Bateman's, -25. So it's all like even, divisible by 5. I don't know why. That's something to point out. Just something I realized. Henry To'oTo'o, 145 tackles. That should be a lot. 9 for loss. Very star-studded season for him. Will Anderson leads the team in sacks, 6.5, led with and tied with Jalen Carter at 6.5, 5 for Sealer, 3.5 for DK Uzama, 4 interceptions for Terrell Bernard, Pat Surtain, 2 for Weeks, 1 for To'oTo'o, and 1 for Hill and Harris. Man, Nico Collins has developed into quite the player. This looks really good. He's so good. After turning around this franchise so quickly, we find ourselves in yet another playoff appearance against the Raiders. We lose 20-17. We'll be moving along. Yikes. I had a minor brain fart and might have just simulated to the draft, and luckily we still make free agency. Hopefully we didn't like lose anyone, because I know that we actually had a few contracts. Wow, Tyreek Hill is still playing. That would be something. Christian Gonzalez as well. We could have some fun here. We got $93 million still. The only problem with taking Christian Gonzalez, it would be him and Patrick Surtain on the outside with Greg Newsome on the inside, and then there'd literally be no spot for Tommy Weeks. so we'd have to probably trade him away and get great value in return. But Gonzalez at this point, just so affordable and so easy to just sign. And we'll try giving Tyreek Hill the world, pretty much. We just gave him $22 million for 1 year. Will I regret that? And this? Probably, but we'll show you who we're going after. Tyreek Hill and Christian Gonzalez, we're going to try to pay top dollar for them. DeMarvion Overshown will basically be our new Christian Harris, and a player I really loved coming out of Texas. He's kind of like a DB linebacker sort of deal. And we get, okay, so this is pretty huge. This is really huge. We have the best cornerback trio in all the league with Christian Gonzalez, Pat Surtain, and Greg Newsome. That's really insane. DeMarvion Overshown, now middle linebacker. He'll come in and play that, like I said, Christian Harris role. And then now Tyreek Hill is on the team, making one of the best wide receiving trios in the league with Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill, and Tank Dell. So this is, to say the least, quite insane. We get Dicker the kicker as well as Ethan Evans as our new kicker punter duo. Interesting enough, no one actually piques the interest of mine towards the top of the board here other than this safety, but other than that, really nothing going on other than, you know, maybe Jonathan Keys would be the only one, but this is no one even close to someone I'd trade up for. So we'll be happy with our pick all the way back at what, 27? Yeah, 27. All the quarterbacks are just still on the board. They're like, hey, we need to be taken. We haven't in the first 26 picks. So here at 27, we have a great strength, Daniel Smith, B awareness, A impact, B, C. I don't know, he could be pretty good, but also be pretty bad. Steven Morton here, down the board, good athlete, pretty good, and like all the way around. B block shedding, B finesse moves, A play rec, C power moves, A tackling with A to C awareness. Give me Steven Morton. I might be overpaying or whatever. He's like maybe 15 picks down the board from where we were picking, but give me Steven Morton, man. I'm really happy with that. And no matter what, we're still in that best player available mindset. I feel like it's worked up to this point, and if we can't find someone we'd like or whatever, then we might just consider moving on. But Jason Bauer, he's a pretty good athlete. A pursuit, A zone coverage, B tackle, but F stamina really stands out as something shitty. So we'll be moving on. Von Arrington. Elite speed, great acceleration, B awareness, A block shedding, A pursuit, A hit power. This guy is like just a bat out of hell and ready to hit, but he can't really do much when it comes to technically gifted. Like, he's not that great. Might be suitable. I'll take him though. Hidden development, I kind of saw that one coming. He looks like a moldable player. Like if we had him in a franchise series, that would be a pretty funny pick or a pretty fun pick. But other than that, nothing really going on. We'll take this pick and then let the CPU take the rest. Roy Creighton here, 5'11", 305. He's something to keep in mind. A man-to-man archetype. Maybe not the best athlete, sure, but B to D man coverage with C zone coverage. So it's probably going to be B man coverage. If not, it's C. And he's just an overall like 70 overall, like across the board. So this guy will be like a 69 to a 71 overall player pretty easily. Giraffe recaps, 76 overall. Steven Morton was really good. Von Arrington was actually pretty good, and like I said, 69 to a 72 overall, or said 71. So Roy Creighton on the back end of that. Carl Peters, a 74. Cameron Day, a 72. And then some guys down the board. But I'm really happy with our top two picks here. You know, 127 and 227. 76 and 75 overall players. And CJ Stroud even up to Superstar X Factor. So we have Nico Collins, CJ Stroud, Tyreek Hill, Tank Dell, Rashad Bateman, Damian Pierce, Dalton Schultz with brackets behind him. Right tackle here. We'll get someone under instead of Jarrett Patterson, I believe, out of Notre Dame. Yeah, so we don't need Jarrett Patterson playing guard for us. We've got people. And then we'll have Matt Barker on the outside. Sherman to step up, play left guard. We can probably move Owen Kerr out to right guard while Sam Cosmi continues at center. Then, other than that, defensively, this does beg the question, though, with the superstar development, Johnson, or should we go 76 overall, Morton, until he gets his dev trait, revealed. Christian Gonzalez will come in and play there. Weeks, I mean, I feel so bad for Weeks, man. We haven't really helped him out. Henry Toto there. Harris, Bernard, and like I said, DeMarvion Overshown would basically be our Christian Harris. And I still would like to stick to that. I like DeMarvion Overshown more than Harris. And then Jalen Petrie, Dax Hill. We just got a lot better in the linebacking room in general between Steele, Arrington, and Bernard, and DeMarvion Overshown these last couple of years. So we've been really good. And then corners were looking very good. I feel like we just have a really, really good team right now, despite, you know, still the under 90 overall. I think that we just need better lines on both teams, I guess, is what's going on. Like, I couldn't tell you. 6-1 start to a season. I would say not too shabby. That's really good. Stats and awards now. CJ Stroud, 1,700 yards, has 13 touchdowns, only 4 interceptions. Rushing, Dameon Pierce is pretty good to start the season. Receiving, we've got a lot of guys going off. Tank Dell's starting with all of them. I mean, he's got something to prove. He's like, hey, I have Tyreek Hill and Nico Collins playing ahead of me. Let me put up 16 average yards per reception. That's insane. With 5 touchdowns, ties the lead of the team with Nico Collins, who's at 400 yards basically, and Tyreek Hill at 452. 352 for Dalton Schultz, and then not much after that. Defensively though, Henry To'oTo'o, 56 tackles with DeMarvion Overshown, 42. That's 3 for loss as well. 3.5 for Felix Anudike-Uzomah. When it comes to sacks, 7 TFLs, actually 10 for Jalen Carter to start the season is really good. And then Stephen Morton, do we know your dev trait, sir? You are superstar. Absolutely goated. I'm so good at drafting. I don't want to hear it. 7 for Will Anderson's really been underperforming. Anudike-Uzomah leads the team in sacks. Carter's there. Interceptions, 3 for Surtain, 1 for Petrie, 1 for Newsome. Yeah, we just haven't seen the performance from the defensive line that we need. Then we'll have to, okay, we're going to trade Tommy Weeks. Will Anderson we'll have to negotiate with. Anudike-Uzomah, I wouldn't mind leaving. Tyreek Hill probably will just be gone. Terrell Bernard, maybe sign back. I don't think so. And then looking down the board, so we really just have Tommy Weeks to probably trade, which is going to suck. Will Anderson, I mean, he's going to be worth a shit ton of money. And I'll start generally, okay, never mind. Not really worth a lot, but that's still very manageable and pretty big chunk at the same time. Oh, this one might be the one. Tyree Wilson. That's definitely the one right here with Keyshawn Johnson, Tommy Weeks, Terrell Bernard. Yeah, sure, you might think that we're getting robbed here, but Tyree Wilson at this spot would not be bad at all. Done deal. So we get Weeks, Bernard, Johnson, and we give a 2nd round pick, and then we actually get a guard, a right guard that is 22 years old. I think he has star development. If not, kind of a bummer, but I don't really care. Tyree Wilson, welcome to the team. It's we didn't want to pay Weeks. We have 3 of the top corners in the league, and if we paid Weeks, that'd just be kind of bad, like just a bad business move. Will Anderson really hasn't worked on the right side, so we'll just switch him to full-time left end, and we have Tyree Wilson on that right end now, and then he'll just play over Felix Anudike-Uzomah. Defensively, I'm kind of just sorting positions out right now, and the team has looked, or is going to look, a lot better here with Nelson now on the line, Nico Collins, Tyreek Hill, Tank Dell still in the same spots. We got our running backs, we got our quarterback Brackens to play fullback and backup tight end. Defensively though, this is what I'm really excited about. Tyree Wilson, the addition of Tyree really explains and really brings out what we need on this team. All right, Tyree Wilson, really good. DeMarvion Overshown, probably. I mean, Harris, and I want Arrington to play a little bit at least, but specialist, you'll see that we'll have DeMarvion Overshown, 2nd sub linebacker, Will Anderson, Carter, and then I need Shelton to be above Peralta there for sure. Wilson, Anderson, Newsome, and then I'll move Tank down to the slot here. Other than that, we look really good. So we have done a good job, and what I'm proud of, we've actually developed players. We're not just buying everyone, so we obviously have a lot of the core Texans team, but we have gone out and bought and traded for a lot of stuff. But the big things I'm talking about: Henry To'oTo'o, a building piece; CJ Stroud, building piece; Nico Collins, Tank Dell, building pieces; Dalton Schultz. I don't know, Jed Wills wasn't here, but you guys get the point, right? And we flunk out of the playoffs. We go 10-7. That's good enough for 3rd in our own division, so we get better on paper, but we get worse in the record department. So 4,120 yards for CJ Stroud, a little lackluster on the touchdowns, and was really conservative with the interceptions. Rushing, Dameon Pierce, 1,140 yards, 4.2 per carry, 8 touchdowns. Receiving, Nico Collins actually ended up leading the team. That's kind of bad. Yeah, Not great numbers defensively. Henry To'oTo'o, 140 tackles, 3 for loss. 22 TFLs for Jalen Carter, 15 for Tyree Wilson with 10 sacks. Looks like that led the team with 7.5 from Will Anderson next up, who did a lot better on the left end than he did on the right. Stephen Morton doing a good job, 3.5 sacks for Felix and Udike Uzama. Kind of a farewell season for him. Probably should have traded him actually, but didn't. Patrick Surtain, 4 interceptions, 3 for Newsome, 1 for Petrie. Stephen Morton wins Rookie of the Year. That's a defensive player of ours that might be up to Superstar X Factor now. So Felix and Udike Uzama probably gonna have to walk. Other than that, I really don't care about many of these guys. Looks like Tyreek Hill actually ended up retiring, because I definitely would have signed him back if we could have, but he retired. But Felix and Udike Uzama, he's just not worth the money we're gonna pay him. And if we were to trade and sign, or sign and trade a guy like Felix and Udike Uzama, we incur a penalty of what would be probably around that 5 maybe 7 million area. I don't really know how those work as much as I do contracts, but the penalties are a bit annoying, so I just rather not have that. So let's see where the team stands now with everyone kind of in their own spots. Nico, Bateman, Tank, Dell, obviously doing good stuff. Brackens, we've got a few things on the line there. Yeah, defensively, he did not go up to Superstar X Factor, but Jalen Carter's X Factor now. Other than that, not a whole lot changes, all things considered. Still have kind of a meh team, and Arrington's Superstar. Let's freaking go. Arrington did a really good job. Or we did a really good job in the last draft with both Morton and Arrington. Wow. Tyler Saucedo. What a freaking name. A little undersized, 5'11", 237. But dude can fly. Superstar development. That'd just be super funny. Tyler Saucedo. What a name. So here's our target players right here. We don't really need, nor do I want anyone from free agency. So we'll just move on to the draft, where I doubt I want anyone here either. Cole Branch at the top here. Wide receiver with Atch in traffic. You see that C really comes down from the catch and traffic area where it says key ratings. It's right over right there actually, where it says catch and traffic. Normally it says Atch in traffic now, and they brought the C down from that to the rating there. So C catch and traffic. He looks like an okay receiver. Nothing like insane, right? But I wouldn't mind trading up to number 1 overall for him, or if he falls a little bit, it seems fine. Avery Jones, 5'10". I was hoping like to get a bigger receiver than that. Elite acceleration. I don't know, he looks fine. His action traffic's a little bit better. So this seems to be a very strong trench class down the board. Like you could see all these guys here. Look at their key ratings over on the right. Like you can kind of find guys that are better than others for sure, which is interesting because in the past when we needed stuff like this, we just don't get these classes. But now, of course, we do. Yeah, I don't know what I'll do. So for the 18th overall pick, the Buccaneers want to give me Paul Pearson and a third in 2 years. Yeah, gimme. And for Larry Wakefield, Rashad Bateman, Christian Harris, and a third this year, we can just go up and straight up get this sort of guy right here, 25-year-old superstar X Factor Spencer Bean. Like, what in the world are these trades? They need to be stopped. See, there's no other better trade like I can think of than the defensive, this one right here, the defensive tackle Spencer Bean. But I just hate to play him over Stefan, whatever we have. Sure, they can both play roles. Like we can put one at rush and the other could just be like a base defensive tackle, but it's just too easy to trade for him. And I don't want to get rid of, because we obviously have Arrington behind Christian Harris, Rashad Bateman, we just got that superstar X Factor kid, Larry Wakefield, and a 3rd round pick. Give me Spencer Bean, dude. It's kind of douchey, but I'm doing it. Now, something to remember when you are building teams, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is getting a player like Pearson, who is around the same age group. So he is headed into his 3rd year in the league. I don't know when he was drafted, so he might have that 5th year option, but if he doesn't, he's going to need an extension after this season. So you got to think about it too. That's going to be a very expensive player. Then you bring in someone around that same age who's got 4 years in the league. So he might be on the accepted 5th year option. As long as he, I don't know what his, we'll look at his contract right now. But if he's gotten paid, which he kind of has, he wanted a short-term deal. Okay, so Spencer Bean is actually on a very cheap deal, which is very interesting. So we're not really going to run into too many problems here but Sam or Steven or Stephen Morton here, like, I hate doing this to him, man. So now we've got Pearson, our wide receiver 1, our new wide receiver 1, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and then our good offensive line. Defensively, like I said, I feel so bad just doing this to Morton, but we've got a really good defensive line. This has changed around in just 1 year. DeMarvin Overshown, who I'd really look to and like to take a step here. I'll make sure that the third linebacker would be this guy right here, Arrington, and then really solid corner room as always, and then just stuff to go around. We got such a good team, man. So we've just got base 86 Pearson, base 86 Nico Collins, and an 86 overall Tank Dell. That is just a lot of 86s going around. We have okay offensive tackles. I think if we were to get like a 90 plus overall tackle on the left side, that would really propel this offense over that 90 overall area, because we're only an 88 right now. And then maybe like some better guards or something. I don't know what Madden wants us to do. Defensively though, Overshown, Arrington, Toa should say, Tyree Wilson, Morton, who will come up and play defensive tackle like number 1 for us, but that's not gonna say much because specialists will have Carter and Bean ahead of him here, and then Wilson, Anderson, and then we'll obviously have Arrington up here in this third sub linebacker spot. Newsome in the slot corner. Slot wide receiver will be Tank Dell. I'll have to do those changes, but yeah, the team's looking, like I said, incredible. So we actually start off 3-3, which not a fan of that for sure. Wish we could have started off a little bit better than that. But CJ Stroud, 1,600 yards, 11 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, so he's cleaned up a lot. Rushing's been fine, nothing insane. And then receiving, which I would like to see, Tank Dell leads the team. Forgot to put him in the slot. I think I might have, but I can't remember. And then Pearson and then Nico Collins finally taking that back seat. He's got the most time out of everyone. Like, at least he's 29. He's probably the oldest in the group. And only at 29, that's pretty spectacular. We got a really young team. And then, you know, touchdowns to go around for sure. Dalton Schultz actually leads the team. And then Brackens, look at Brackens go with one of them down here, and Carl Peters as well. But Spencer Brackens, defensively, TFLs, tackles, like that's actually pretty far down, meaning we're not on the field too much. 8 TFLs for Jalen Carter to start the season, not bad. 3.5 sacks for Will Anderson Jr. 1 for Bean, 1 for Wise Peralta playing. I don't want Peralta to play. I want Tyree Wilson to be rushing up the edge full time. Wise Peralta there. Players that are ready to negotiate include Brent Sherman, Matt Barker, Damian Pierce, who we can finally let walk at this point. Definitely want to bring back so yeah, just a lot of the offensive line, honestly, and just a few other guys for sure. Dalton Schultz, I'm fine letting walk. And then Jed Wills, I want back for maybe, you know, 3 years. That's what I was kind of thinking. He's got interest in the team, so maybe can just like do this, get away with something like this. He is going to stay with the team, which it's a lot of money to pay for sure. And then Barker is going to be not worth the like as much as you'd think maybe, but this should get it done. So I put Damian Pierce, Dalton Schultz on a 2nd round pick in here. I should not be getting this return right here. Vita Vea would be insane, but look at this guy right here, JJ Beckham. Left end, that is an 87, like 24 years old, superstar development. Like, what? This should not be allowed. Wilkins, Jonathan Allen, Saquon, done deal. Damian Pierce, Morton, Schultz across 1, 2, and 3 across 4. Jonathan Taylor. He's like 29 at this point. As a dumb train. Look, I don't intend to go much longer. Maybe this year, next year. So sure, I'll take Jonathan Taylor. Thanks very much. So we only finished 11-6, and that's not even good enough in our own division, as we will go against the guys who were quote unquote best in our division at the same record as us with the Indianapolis Colts. CJ Stroud, 4,155 yards, 30 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor up over 2,000 yards, 7.2 per carry. Why was that a bad trade again? I want to hear that. I know some of you guys were definitely thinking it. Paul Pearson, the first year as a Texan, does a really good job. Nico was fine. Tank Dell was meh. Pearson just really taking over, and he needs to. He's going to be the future. Tackles, Henry Toto was fine. TFLs, Jalen Carter was 17, 15 for Tyree, 14 for Anderson, 10 for Bean. 9.5 sacks for Will Anderson. He's finally coming out of his shell. Jalen Carter was good. Tyree Wilson was fine. And then 3 interceptions for Surtain, 2 for Gonzalez, 1 for Overshown, 1 for Petrie, and 1 for Newsome. And one thing that's really helped me in this rebuild is definitely knowing when to move on. I feel like I've managed money more than okay, but 28-14 is bad. I can't believe we just lost in the wild card. We're straight 91 overalls, and we're really good this season. Just unfortunately, just not quite there yet. So we'll go through this offense or this offseason really fast, and then we'll just head into probably the last season. We'll go after Kader Kohou for that quarterback 4 spot, and we'll just want to secure him a little bit more, and we do get Kader Kohou. So yeah, we just will secure down our cornerback 4 because our next best guy was like a 76 overall max. So I was like, I feel better with someone else like at a better age and more experience, you know, just a better overall, just a better player to be our pivotal cornerback number 4, you know, more important part of an offense. I'm obviously being sarcastic. That's virtually nothing. Move on to the draft, where I'll probably just skip right over it. Honestly, we missed out on our first 3 picks because we get Jonathan Taylor. So, and from what I can tell, there's no generational players up here at the top that I'd consider drafting. Cassidy rushing here looks really good. Amazing route runner, but probably not what I want. Let's see what player was the highest. It was Dalton Smith. Andrew Reese was actually the number 1 overall pick, and then Cassidy rushing was like fine. He wasn't great. San Diego State. Didn't we get like Arrington from San Diego? Who did we got? I think it was that defensive tackle, actually, the one that we just traded. Like, his name was Stefan. He's a star, so I'm glad I didn't trade up for him. So David Steele, a 25-year-old middle linebacker, was normal dev that's on a contract year, I believe, is good enough to get us Pat Ellison, which would be a way better cornerback 4 than anybody else. So I don't know, a little starstruck by that. That seems to be like the standout deal here. What would make this team like look better? Like, the aesthetics need to be better here, and I think it would be like obviously star better development center, but like I really just don't care. Like that's fine. I'm more than happy we've had Sam Cosmi like this whole time. Then defensively, we're looking pretty good across the board. Anderson never really got going, never probably will. He's pretty meh. Like, he hasn't been special by any means. Marvin Overshown up to star development. I love to see that. He's been good since he's been here. And then Gonzalez, Anderson. So I'll just set the depth chart, and then I don't really know. I think that'll pretty much do it. This will probably be the last season. We got to go all in, and if we make the wild card, I'll hop in and whatnot to see this final product of a team. But we're doing really great things here, like money wise as well. We've taken my brain and we've made it good for money, because honestly, I feel like I've managed money better than this rebuild than I ever have. So we start off 5-2. We actually have a tough matchup here at the midseason with the 5-2 San Francisco 49ers. Why did I just click X Factor database? Stats and awards on the season. CJ Stroud has been really lackluster in the yards department. 12 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. Really good though. Rushing, Jonathan Taylor's been very solid. Not much better than Dameon Pierce was, honestly. And then you can look around and see that both Tank Dell and Paul Pearson are doing really good. Nico Collins really taking that back seat now. Defensively, Henry To'oTo'o 54 tackles to Marvin Overshown 40, 2 for loss and 4 for loss for Henry To'oTo'o. Leading the team in sacks is actually Tyree Wilson 8.5 at this midseason mark, which is insane. Spencer Bean with 5, 4 for Anderson, 3.5 for Carter. And Will Anderson actually leads the team in with 9 TFLs. Jesus. And then players ready to negotiate. I'm curious to see who is in here. It's going to be Paul Pearson, Spencer Bean, so they still do need extensions on the same year, Nico Collins, Tyree Wilson, Greg Newsome, Owen Kerr, Kader Kohou, Alan Culp, David Steele. You got a lot of these guys. So yeah, I'm glad I'm leaving now. I just saw Sam Cosmi out of the corner of my eye too down here. So yeah, I'm glad this is the last season, because I tell you what, negotiating all these guys, keeping the money in check will not really, it would take a lot of time to structure everything correctly here, and I'm not really looking towards that. I've already been here for 2 hours today, and then yesterday I was doing this for quite a while. So we'll look to get this one done, go to the playoffs, see if we can get it done. We got 13-4. We end up beating the rest of the conference, going to that number 1 seed spot. Henry To'oTo'o constantly highlighted there. Jiminy Chrysler. And then player stats here: CJ Stroud 3,800 yards, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Jonathan Taylor was great receiving. Tank Dell was actually our leader, with Paul Pearson not too far behind him. And then Nico Collins was good to finish off the season. Defensively, Henry To'oTo'o 123 tackles, 6 for loss. And Will Anderson leads the team. Wow, what a year. Anderson actually leads the team in both TFLs and sacks, 21 to 13.5, really just starting to show up. 15 from Tyree Wilson, 12 for Spencer Bean. Finished season with 12 sacks, 12 and a half. Tyree with 8.5. Jalen Carter with 7.5. And then interception wise, Pat Surtain, Jalen Petrie, 1 for both Vaughn Arrington, Greg Newsome, and Christian Gonzalez. Kader Kohu even comes in and has 1. Good for him. Oh man, my brain is starting to deteriorate as we speak. Here we are, the Texans team on the field for the playoffs, and we got Pearson, obviously, who's a lot smaller than I thought he'd be. He's got jukebox. Wow. Okay. Tank Dell as well. Like, we got some guys. Let's go underneath. Nico will still bring that one in because he's a good receiver. You know, every time I play this game, it's normally with my franchise team. You guys don't know I have Tennessee Titans franchise. Quinnen Williams does a crazy job. Can we get this one down to Tank Dell? Great job down the field. Great quarterback, great receiver. But basically, I have a Tennessee Titans franchise where I do like all the gameplay and stuff. And this one lobbed up in the air. This one will be taken away. This one was a weird angle. And we're going to try to get whoever the heck this guy is. Unfortunate. Lewis Seen. It's a mix of how bad I am and a mix of how bad the players on the Tennessee Titans are. But we never can do well. And I just like don't enjoy playing the game as much as I do like franchise and stuff like that and rebuilds. Because like I just use a lot of my strengths in playing the game. Definitely not one of my strengths on whatever next gen. Because old gen I was pretty good, but next gen. Still my first year doing it because I'm on PC. We destroy the Jets in the wild card. It's a low scoring one here, but coming to the end of the third, oh my lord, this one's getting pretty close. 17 to whatever this is right here. 17 to 10. I figured it out, guys. Yay. We're gonna have to just play our best football here, and that includes being smart, getting out of the pocket, doing what we need to do. This is a pick. I threw the team. All right, I get it. I'm bad at the video game. I thought that 21 would follow whoever the hell he was on instead of float in front of in front of, I believe it was Pearson. So yippee, we suck. I suck. We don't suck. I suck at the game. We just need to get to whoever that is. Why did Jalen Carter just get up like that? Game over. We lost 10 to 17. My fault. Definitely my fault. Who says the CPU is actually going to not do the same thing? So we don't know if it's my fault, but it's mainly my fault. But that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and go down, hit the like button, go subscribe. I'm not too worried about us not winning here because we would have made the Super Bowl. We already won the Super Bowl in like the first year of this thing. So that'll be all for me. Thank you guys for watching. Deuces.